Well, it looks like there could be a cascade of problems coming for the SEC, specifically for Bill Hinman, because in this video I'm going to talk about what the Empower Oversight Committee just did, what they submitted to the Inspector General regarding all the conflicts of interest that are going on with the SEC, their free pass speech that Bill Hinman gave, and of course everything revolving around the Ripple versus the SEC case. I'm also going to talk about some of the horrible numbers that just came out, the CPI inflation numbers that just came out, the other horrible numbers that revolve around cryptocurrency values, the markets, what they have been doing, what they're potentially going to be doing, and what XRP is doing. Also, I have a very fun announcement regarding this channel that I wanted to tell you guys about. Hey everyone, my name is Randy and welcome back to the Late Night Grind. Right now on this channel we are covering the Ripple versus the SEC case, along with other cryptocurrency news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if any or all these topics interest you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the Late Night Grind community. Also, if you would do three things, I'd greatly appreciate it. Smash the thumbs up button, watch this video all the way to the end, and check out my Patreon link in the description below. Alright guys, let's jump into it. Alright, so I actually wanted to start off with talking about the horrible numbers, the horrible CPI numbers, the inflationary numbers that just came out earlier this morning. 8.3% inflation year over year. Now, that's a horrible number. It is down from last month, however, but only by 0.1%. Well, it's not exactly good news, but it's not the worst news. In fact, some other countries are faring far worse. I saw this morning that the country of Ghana reported a 23.6% inflationary number. That could be catastrophic. So now people are starting to pay attention to what other countries are doing, because what other countries are going through financially can have major impacts on the United States, the US dollar, the crypto market, and the rest of the world economy. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Now, Joe Biden, who sits in the president's office in the United States, he said that inflation and the horrible inflation numbers aren't due to government spending. Well, he probably thinks they have to do with meme stock traders, just like some people on the mainstream media do, but nonetheless, it seems like a lot of people have their head in the sand, or they're just making up stuff, hoping that the American people believe it. So when these CPI numbers came out, the markets reacted accordingly. They dropped drastically, and then they rebounded. So at this point, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of anything. The Dow Jones is down a few percent, but not too bad. But obviously, things like the crypto market, which is seen as a risk-on asset, suffered a little more of a loss. But as of recording this video, it bounced back, but then it gave back those gains. So Bitcoin is holding a key support level now, right around the $30,000 mark. 30 to 32,000 is what it's been fluctuating at. Now, if you're looking at what XRP is doing, it's tanking. In fact, it hit about 40 cents earlier this morning. It's like 42. It's about 42 cents as I make this video. And if you believe that XRP is going to be an incredible value by the end of the year, or when Ripple wins this case versus the SEC, well, 40 cents could be a good price point to buy into. But this is not financial advice. It's just something to look into. And of course, we have other catastrophic news going on in the crypto world, as UST, the Terra Luna stablecoin, which is supposed to be worth $1 at all times or very close to it, obviously tanked, went through some wild fluctuations yesterday, is going through wild fluctuations today. It dipped all the way down to 26 cents. So here's the thing, there could be a play in there somewhere for high-risk traders or high-risk gamblers, if you want to call it that, to jump in at some of these low price points, considering that, well, it's supposed to go back to being valued at $1. So if you jump in at 50, 60, 70 cents or whatever it is now, there could be some good gains to have. But whether or not that's actually going to happen remains to be seen, because it looks like in order to get that stablecoin back to being worth $1, Terra Luna is going to have to sell some of its assets or get some other investors to bring back that peg to $1. I'm not exactly sure from a technical standpoint how it works, but from what I've been reading, it's just going to take a lot of money. And as long as there's a lot of volatility in the market and Bitcoin is still sitting at $30,000, well, that might take a long time to get that stable coin pegged to the dollar. However, if we see a rebound from $30,000, well, it might happen sooner than later. And obviously, there are a lot of risk-on investors that are willing to take on some of that risk, namely Bitcoin investors. This morning, it was just reported that the top 100 Bitcoin wallets have bought 77,000 Bitcoin in the last 24 hours. That's about $2.4 billion was purchased by the top 100 Bitcoin wallet holders. That's a lot of people that have a lot of faith in Bitcoin. Now, if you see them doing it, well, I'll leave that decision up to you. All right, so now I want to talk about the fun announcement that I have regarding this channel, the Late Night Grind. There is a live stream that goes on every Friday from 12 p.m. Eastern to 2 p.m. Eastern. It is a cryptocurrency show, NFT show, XRP ledger show put on by Culture NFTs. Now, if you recognize that name, I've actually talked about him before on this channel. He's the one that actually posts these crazy multi-million-dollar Michael Jackson NFTs, these super rare Michael Jackson NFTs that are up for sale. In fact, he has a DJ live stream that has 1.7 million global listeners to the show. And so I'm going to be calling in every Friday and doing a little bit of a segment talking about some of the market updates, some of the XRP ledger updates. We're going to be discussing NFTs on the XRP ledger, and some of the cool projects. So if you're interested, I'll post a link in the description below. You can listen to that. You can go ahead and listen to his live stream, which goes on all the time, but specifically this crypto show is going to be Fridays from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern. So I'm happy to be a part of it. All right, now let's get to, let's just call it a cascade of destruction for Bill Hinman. Well, at least that's what a lot of XRP holders are hoping. So John Deaton recently put out a tweet, and he was referencing what the Empower Oversight Committee just did, in which John Deaton actually called this a cascade. So what's actually happening? Well, Empower Oversight Committee is actually an organization. It's a whistleblower organization. It's a watchdog organization. They have officially filed a letter with the Inspector General to investigate the SEC Ethics Office failures to do a conflict of interest check on Bill Hinman before he gave his speech. Because if you remember, Empower Oversight actually did some Freedom of Information Act requests. They got some of the Bill Hinman emails specifically from the Ethics Oversight Committee, in which the Ethics Oversight Committee was warning him not to meet with Simpson Thacher. Now keep in mind, this is while he was a commissioner of the SEC, and Simpson Thacher was his former employer, with which he was earning millions and millions of dollars, not just as a retirement bonus, but in fact as a percentage of profit that Simpson Thacher made on making some big bets on Ethereum and Bitcoin. Okay, so there you have your conflict of interest. The SEC Ethics Committee failed in figuring out these conflicts of interest before he gave his speech. So I'll link in the description below a link to this letter that the Empower Oversight Committee sent to the Inspector General, because the Inspector General would absolutely have the power to go ahead and do a full investigation along with some of the members of Congress. And what John Deaton was referencing is that when the Inspector General and the members of Congress ask the SEC Oversight Committee about the Bill Hinman speech, as John Deaton says, what's the Ethics Committee going to do? Back up Bill Hinman? No, of course not, because Bill Hinman went around them even though they warned him about meeting with Simpson Thacher. So what would they say about him actually giving this speech? Because there wasn't any conflict of interest check, which is the failure on the Ethics Committee's part. So what John Deaton is saying by the cascade is that once these questions start getting asked by the Inspector General and by members of Congress, well, it could start a cascade of problems for Bill Hinman and the SEC. Now, if you watch this channel or some of the others that are covering this Ripple versus the SEC case, that's nothing new. But this letter to the Inspector General is new. And the fact that John Deaton says it's a big deal, well, to me, that means it's a big deal. So if you want to follow along with this or any of the other stories that I follow on this channel, make sure you subscribe to the Late Night Grind YouTube channel, as well as follow me on Twitter. And so, like I said, if you want to listen to that live stream that I'm going to be joining every Friday, hosted by Culture NFTs, called Desert Storm Radio, I'll put a link in the description below. You can go and check that out as well. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, for smashing that thumbs up button. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next video.